Okay, so you know Melody Shari, right? From Love and Marriage Huntsville. Well, girl, let me tell you, her life has been a roller coaster. Forget the drama on the show because what's been happening off-screen is even wilder. It all centers around her split with Martell Holt, and it's been anything but amicable. The courtroom battles, the accusations, the constant back and forth, it's enough to make anyone want to pack their bags and move to another planet, let alone just another city. And that's exactly what Melody did. She picked up her kids, packed her life into boxes, and headed to Atlanta. Now, Huntsville was where she built her life, her business, her family. It was home. But it was also a constant reminder of the pain and betrayal she endured with Martell. Every street corner held a memory. Every familiar face carried an opinion. It was suffocating her. And more importantly, it was affecting her kids. Atlanta, on the other hand, represented a fresh start, a chance to breathe, to rebuild, to create a new life for herself and her children, away from the toxicity of her past. She envisioned a peaceful haven, a place where her kids could thrive without being caught in the crossfire of their parents' drama. The idea was that Atlanta would be this beautiful place, where she and the kids could just relax and be normal. But here's the thing, freedom always comes at a price. And in Melody's case, the price was steep. Leaving Huntsville meant leaving behind not just the bad memories, but also the support system she had built over the years. Her friends, her family, her community, they were all back in Alabama. Starting over in a new city meant building a new network from scratch, okay? Navigating unfamiliar streets and facing the challenges of single motherhood in a completely new environment. The move itself was emotionally draining. Packing up her Huntsville home was like closing a chapter on her old life. Each box held memories, both good and bad. There were echoes of laughter from family dinners, but also the lingering tension of arguments and broken promises. She remembers her daughter clinging to her favorite doll, her son sitting silently on the couch, both of them sensing the magnitude of what was happening, even if they didn't fully understand it. Melody felt the weight of responsibility crushing her. She was their mother, their father, their protector, all rolled into one. She knew she was making the right decision for them, but that didn't make it any easier. It's not just about winning anymore, she kept telling herself. It's about protecting Di. It's about giving them a chance at a normal life, something that seemed impossible in Huntsville. The weeks leading up to the move were filled with whispers and speculation. Everyone had an opinion, a theory, a judgment. Some people praised her courage. Others accused her of running away. But Melody tuned out the noise. She knew that true peace sometimes means walking away from the noise. Even if it means being misunderstood. She had to do what was best for her and her children, regardless of what anyone else thought. The courtroom drama was something else. Martell, he was used to getting his way, controlling everything from the narrative to the finances. But that day when the judge gave Melody the green light to move to Atlanta with the kids, you could see the shock on his face. It was like someone had pulled the rug out from under him. Melody didn't exactly celebrate. She was just plain tired. All those years of fighting, the constant stress, it had taken a toll. Leaving the courthouse, she hid her eyes behind sunglasses. But inside, she was a mess. It wasn't a victory. It was survival. And those late-night phone calls don't even get me started. Martell would call ranting and raving, making accusations, trying to guilt-trip her. The worst part was when the kids would ask, "Mommy, why isn't Daddy here?" That question would just rip her heart out. But Melody stayed strong, reminding herself of her promise to give her children peace, no matter the cost. That's what fueled her as she loaded the last boxes into the moving truck. Ignoring the stares from the neighbors and the reporters lurking down the street. She wasn't running, she was rebirthing. The drive to Atlanta was like a journey into the unknown. Each mile took her further away from the past, from the betrayal and the drama. The kids were asleep in the back, oblivious to the life-altering change they were experiencing. As the Atlanta skyline came into view, shimmering in the sunset, Melody whispered, "This is where we start again." The new house felt empty at first. Boxes everywhere. The smell of fresh paint echoes in the bare rooms. But there was also a sense of peace, something she hadn't felt in a long time. She put the kids to bed, then sat at the kitchen table staring at her laptop screen. School applications, business plans, real estate papers. It was overwhelming, but it was progress. She was rebuilding brick by brick. Then the phone rang. It was Martell. His voice was sharp, angry, impatient. "You think you can just take my kids and run off to another city?" He said, "You're not about to erase me from their lives." Melody stayed calm. "This isn't about you, Martell," she said. "This is about them. They need peace. Something you couldn't give." The call ended with that familiar tension hanging in the air. Melody knew that even miles away, Martell's shadow still loomed, and she was right. It didn't take long for the rumors to start swirling. Martell was talking to lawyers, exploring ways to appeal the ruling. He was posting cryptic messages on social media, trying to paint himself as the victim. Some people fell for it, but most sought through his act. Melody didn't get distracted. She surrounded herself with a support system, trusted friends, business mentors, spiritual advisors. She went to parenting workshops, met with legal experts, making sure she was doing everything she could to protect her peace and her children's future. But there were still hard days. Her daughter started withdrawing, becoming quiet and observant. Melody knew she was internalizing all the tension, storing it in her little heart. It broke her. One night, her daughter asked, "Mommy, are we really leaving Daddy behind? What if he can't find us?" Melody knelt down, took her hands, and said softly, "We're not leaving him behind, sweetie. We're leaving the pain behind. We're going somewhere better." Tears welled up in her eyes, but she stayed strong. In that moment, she realized that motherhood wasn't just about love. It was about leadership. Meanwhile, back in Huntsville, Martell was seething. He couldn't accept losing control. His friends tried to reason with him, but he wouldn't listen. "She thinks she can take my kids, move to Atlanta, and erase me," he told one friend. Not a chance. His family didn't help matters. Some relatives called Melody, begging her to reconsider, saying the kids needed their roots. Others went even further, sending threats and spreading rumors. But Melody stood her ground. She wasn't just protecting her children. She was breaking a generational pattern of women staying silent, sacrificing their peace to maintain appearances. Not this time. As weeks turned into months, Melody began finding her footing in Atlanta. She dove into networking events, rebuilding her brand and speaking to women who saw her as an inspiration. The city embraced her with open arms, and slowly a genuine smile returned to her face. Not the forced smile for the cameras, but one born of newfound freedom. But just as things started to feel stable, Martell made his move. Word got around that he was in Atlanta, spotted at restaurants, industry gatherings, even lurking around Melody's new neighborhood. Some wrote it off as coincidence, but Melody knew better. He was trying to regain control to disrupt her peace. The blogs went wild with headlines. "Martell spotted in Atlanta. Is he trying to win Melody back or stir up more drama?" Everyone was watching, waiting for the next explosion. Then one morning, as Melody was dropping the kids off at school, Martell appeared out of nowhere. Other parents, phones in hand, started recording. He called out to her. "So this is your new life, huh? New city, new friends, new you. You think you can just erase me?" Melody kept her composure. "This isn't about you anymore, Martell," she said, her voice calm but firm. "It's about our kids. They deserve peace." That was the kind of calm that comes from years of enduring hardship. The confrontation went viral. People praised Melody for her grace under pressure, while others criticized Martell for his obsessive need for control. That night, after the dust had settled, Melody sat in her quiet home, journaling by candlelight. The kids were asleep, the world was still, and she poured her heart out onto the page. "My children will grow in peace," she wrote. "My daughter will know her worth. My son will learn what strength looks like. This cycle ends with me." Her handwriting was shaky, but her words were powerful. While Melody worked on building her new life, Martell was busy plotting his next move. He met with lawyers behind closed doors, exploring new legal strategies to regain power. The custody battle might have been over, But the war of pride was far from finished. He started leaking carefully crafted stories to the press, trying to manipulate public opinion and paint himself as the victim. Melody refused to engage publicly. She chose silence as her weapon, letting her actions speak louder than any words ever could. Atlanta was supposed to be her safe haven, but Martell's presence made it clear that peace would require constant vigilance. Still, Melody didn't back down. She keeled her pain into purpose, launching new business ventures, mentoring young women, and reminding everyone that resilience isn't about being perfect. It's about persevering. She was red. It's about persevering. She was red.